You can go, Randall.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to our 27th vvvv meetup. We're doing this every month, and this is a space where all vvv people come together and share what they've been working on, anything interesting they might have seen or been doing lately or maybe a long time ago. It doesn't really matter. So welcome, thanks for joining us. If you want to join us directly, we have a Zoom call that you can join if you want to ask questions live or just listen to the conversation in real time. You can also write us on YouTube, where I'll be checking the comments if you have any questions or things you want to tell the people who are presenting today. And also we are on the Element chat monitoring. If you send anything over there, I'll also be checking. So feel free to reach out on any of those channels. I'll be your host today. My name is Randall Vasquez, and we have people back in Berlin. Also, if you want to join them live, there's a space at the Node Institute. I assume you guys have drinks and stuff, plenty of room. And we also have a space in Vienna that's slowly filling up. So if you're around in Vienna and you feel like joining these guys live, I think in the blog post, we have details of where you can find us. So let's get things started. We have quite a few presenters today and it looks quite promising. So let's kick it off by starting with, and I hope I do get this right, Lichterloch. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
I'm going to share my screen.
Go ahead. And just as a reminder to everybody, we're going to try to keep it around 10 minutes and, give or take, but that's the aim. So show us what you got, guys.
Everybody sees the screen?
Yes.
Hi. Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for hosting us and giving us the opportunity to say something about our latest public art installation, Eclipse. We are Lichterloh, a media artist collective from Vienna, operating for 20 years now, mostly doing live visuals, AV performances, light installations, interactive installations, and projections. Today, a lot of it with vvvv.
Nice.
That's why we are here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Eclipse, which is our latest, as I said, public art installations, which was positioned in Bastan in Austria. The Board of Tourism came to us in September last year, asking us if we want to do a special effect show, light show for New Year's Eve. And we thought about, yeah, we can do it, but it's kind of boring to make a light show for tourists. So why don't we suggest an art installation, which is lasting longer than one night, but for 1 month. So we proposed some concepts to them. First of all, projection mapping on the wall, if you can call it a mapping. Well, it's like only a projection. But we soon discovered it's out of budget for 1 month. We need a too strong projector. So we decided also propose some light installations there at the waterfall. And the Board of Tourism, said they also prefer the light installations. And we both agreed on the Eclipse. So this was Eclipse. It's a 4.7 meter in diameter wide ring made of aluminum with a steel socket where it was placed in, and with LEDs on the front and on the back side. And it was like a dynamic light sculpture which was animated. The core of the artistic work was the solar eclipse. So we were a lot of inspired of solar eclipse and the cycles which they have. So how long is a total eclipse? How long is the movement of the moon before and after a total eclipse? And we all use this data to program the LEDs and to do like a light show on the ring. And we also did live performances there for the vernissage and the finissage, where we played on the ring really live together with Dominic Trump from Austrian Apparel, which is like, or who is like one of our closest friends and a great musician working with analog techniques. So we developed a setup where we could, where everything was connected and where we could also control the sound. So we did a lot of live shows in the past, AV shows, like Cruel and Dorfmeister or HVOB, where we always got the sound from the musician and transferred this data in something. And with this installation, the first time we had the chance to control the sound from our perspective, which was very interesting for us, and it was a lot of fun. So now I'm going to show you a video about Eclipse, so you get a better glimpse of the installation itself. Sorry.
You were gonna go into like a DJ set in there. That's very cool. Was that a render or was that actual video?
Oh, it's actually really the installation itself, but the render we had, we also got it from a drone. It looks not that far away from the Ragged. So
it's actually been the closest any project of us has been to the renderings we had.
So yeah, when we were first went to Bastan, having a view on the side, on site, and choosing the right position for the ring, and yeah, choosing the right concept where we put the ring and the location. We faced, of course, a lot of challenges. First, the location itself. It's like, as you can imagine, the terrain is like really bumpy. It was winter, last winter in November, December. It was icy, it was very slippy, it was like not fun to work at, actually. And we put a lot of effort into making plans, how we're gonna wire, where we put the control systems, like the PC, where we put the control system of the LED, the controller, where we put the power adapters, which you see here, where we're doing the wiring, what happens if there is 2 meter high snow or something. So we put a lot of effort in planning that installation. When there's a video. That brings me to the second challenge, the weather itself. It's like, as you can see on the left picture, this was 1 week after the installment of the light sculpture, where the light sculpture was not running. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of ice was covering the sculpture, and yeah, we had many brain power put in that it will run for 1 month. And we thought about, okay, how can we get rid of the ice? So we put some wire inside, which is warming the aluminum ring, so that the ice is not direct on the aluminum ring. Little bit ice on the steel, it's no problem. A little bit ice on the box, no problem. But it was definitely challenging. And these this is the gears we used to have, where we had a lot of hours of researching. We put the controller in boxes like IP68 boxes, like waterproof, iceproof, windproof, whatever proof, so that it's running for 1 month. There you see the boxes, these on the right top. These are the adapters, which we used when cabling from the computer. The computer is here. From top, it was on a plate or on a base. where we always had access. It was we're wiring down to the waterfall. We used LED covered in silicone, of course, so that we could make sure that it lasts for 1 month. Another challenge was the visual quality, of course. We always said to our construction guy, to our construction head, we want to have the ring as thin as possible, as light as possible, as big as possible, and as bright as possible. And it was many back and forth with him, exchanging ideas, and also exchanging ideas with the structural engineer to measure and to calculate the forces, what can happen there, wind, snow, birds, whatever. Yeah, we sometimes we also overthink the installation, but it was good, so that it lasted for 1 month. And the visual quality was also important for the LEDs, of course, because it's very important to us to use like state-of-the-art equipment. So we also used high-density LEDs, which had more pixels than the normal ones, I would say, and which could be controlled better and do better animations on it. And by the way, on the left side, because many people ask us, how did you mount the LEDs on the ring? On the left side, you see something like a mount, which we also got from our supplier, which was quite handy for the construction. Yeah, biggest challenge, setup, of course. Also, a lot of brain work went into ideas how we're gonna move that ring over there on this little rock over here, as you can see. And although it was pretty easy to mount the base, the steel base where the ring was inside, which was like in 2 hours it was done. It was a big challenge to bring the ring there, and the mountain rescuers of Salzburg helped us a lot. Yeah, a lot, because they have so much experience in the mountains where they get bodies and stuff. They know a lot how to handle with such environments, and they helped us a lot, and they brought us on the idea, and they helped us also physically, although they were like 60 years old, I think. And yeah, in the end, we really managed to bring the ring over there, although it once fell into the water, and before it's gone. It's everything is broken. But as we overthinked all the plannings of the adapters and the LEDs, this was not a problem at all.
Of course, it's gonna last for decades. This thing,
yeah.
Strong.
Hopefully,
Nice.
hopefully. So yeah, it were really difficult conditions. Also, at one point the fog came and you couldn't see like 2 meters, and the sun was down, and it was like a canyon where the water falls, and the sun was like 3 hours a day there, and the rest it was shadow, and it soon became dark. But it's a lot of challenges. Faster, yeah. Okay.
Impressive.
Yeah, and I want to show you one more video of an FPV guy, drone operator, which contacted us through Instagram as soon as he saw this installation. He said, this ring or bow or portal, he has to use it to bring in this FPV drone. And
okay.
This is the video. Crazy guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No, really shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a FPV drone which is under the bridge and through the ring, and it's like unbelievable.
Okay.
So now I hand over to Clemens, who is gonna talk about the patch and the software behind it.
Cool. Just so you know, guys, we're like 3 minutes over 10 already. So let's try
3
to
minutes
keep it
overtime
short.
already.
Yes.
I'm gonna try and be fast. Here are a few LED pixel stripe installations we did, and they all share the same batch at the core, which we developed at this installation here for 2017 Lighthouse Croatia. And I'm going to skip the story of it so we can look a bit at the batch. So here we have our main render window with an environment scan, which we did with reality scan. We used this a lot to develop the animations and the live show. And I have to bring up another. And this is the batch for it, basically. And here we have, at the core of it, there's a compute shader chain, which, the first compute shader just positions the LEDs in space. The second one takes a texture and projects this texture onto these LED positions from some position, which I define with a camera. And then there is another pixel engine shader, because we use this a lot for other projects. This shader can do some other things like flash certain parts and mix with a lighting desk and stuff. And at the end, we prepare this to be output to DMX. So we have here an ArtNet output, which sends the whole thing to the controller. And here, maybe another thing which is interesting is the animation loader, how we run the actual animations. We have this, we have this interface defined, which has some inputs and outputs, a texture output. And in the animation loader here, we look for all animations which have this interface and are a class, and we can then render those. And we render a few of those because we have 2 channels which we can mix, and we render, of these 2 channels, we render 4 instances because we have a backside and a foreside. I can show you the renderer for this, just a second. Because we have this backside of the renderer, and this is the front and this is the back. And we have another 2 animations which we use as a multiplier for the content we run up here. So this is the content view of the batch. And just one more thing I'm showing here is for the actual, we only had a low-end computer to run the animation. And to do this, we recorded the animation as 2 pixel lines, which we then just replayed on this low-end computer with Pipette, and just sent this from there to ArtNet. And this is the super fast version of the batch.
Thank you for that. So you guys, well, first of all, thanks for sharing. Super cool project. I already have some questions myself. So you use 2 machines, one for development, where you could use the shaders in real time to tweak things and develop your creative process, and then you bake this so the lower end machine could read the bake file, basically. Very interesting.
We also used the higher end version for the live show. Of course, and yes, we did a looped animation in our higher end version, and this we wrote out to a texture image stack, which we then just replayed at this low end, I mean, €400 computer or something.
Wow, super interesting. And dumb question, why 2 pixel texture and not 1 pixel texture? Well, why you need the second row?
Because we have a backside also.
Ah, true, and they're not the same, of course.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right, cool. Well, super cool. Does anybody in our call, maybe someone in Berlin, maybe someone in Vienna, or somebody else, do we have any questions or comments from the audience or the attendants?
Maybe I have a quick one. So seeing all the like extensive work that was put into installing it, can you imagine yourself making the other variants that went like through the whole waterfall?
No, our other proposals, you mean?
Yeah.
No. We've been very happy that they chose the ring, but also then realized how hard the ring actually is, but how much harder the other proposals would have been. I mean, that it was a lucky agreement on both sides that we went with the ring, I would say.
Definitely. But we always we planned when we built the ring, we planned also trying the others in a small scale, like putting ropes inside the water and stuff like that, but we couldn't manage to do it. But I think one day, maybe not that waterfall, maybe another one. we're gonna want to do this installation. The ropes are in the water and moving and organically. And
so if you know somebody with a waterfall.
All right. I'll keep a lookout. Amazing work, guys. Thank you.
Super cool. You got some love from Sebastiano Barbieri on the YouTube chat. Big up to you guys and a big black heart. So we have that. I think I saw a hand go up on the Berlin room, but was I wrong? Was there a question or something coming up there?
I had a question. Do you actually plan to reuse the ring somewhere else, like we used to have it?
Sorry, again?
Do you plan to reuse the ring somewhere else for like another installation? Do you still have it? The ring?
No, actually, it's a long-term project. So next year we also use the ring again for this waterfall, but we also plan to do it audiovisual. This year it was a light sculpture at its own, but next year we also want to bring, because we saw at the live performances when we played on the ring, we saw it really is really cool with music as well, and we want to do next year the installation with sound as well, and maybe we're going to add every year one little piece, maybe some projection one day, maybe, I don't know, but we are open for other waterfalls as well all over the world.
So yes, we still have it, but also the tourism board of Pakistan owns it. We archive it, but they own it, so it's made for this spot, and the same ring will only be set up in this spot.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question too. Hey, you guys said that normally you would take the audio from stage to control your visuals, and at this time it was the other way around. So could you explain what kind of data? So the way I understood was that you, or maybe the ring itself, sent some data to the audio guys, and they worked on it with analog stuff.
We didn't have that we do an audiovisual performance at all was decided a few weeks before we had the opening, and the connection was rather simple in terms it was like that we would be able to control timings of certain of his synthesizers and effect machines. Like we mostly sent out different MIDI clocks actually. Okay. And by changing tempos, we would be able to change. So we send up MIDI clocks and some OSC signal actually. And but also this OSC signal would rather control a tempo or an effect magnitude. But this was all very raw, I would say, compared to other live shows we did. But that was also part of the fun of it, because it allowed us to play a lot.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for the explanation.
Could we stop the screen share? People on YouTube are complaining they can't see our faces when we talk. You know, missing all the beauty. Thank you. Amazing. I mean, I loved it. Looks super cool. I love how much planning you put into it. How much that maybe is my final question. How much of your planning reflected the final reality of things? Like, did you end up putting the cables where you planned? Did the reality match the plan basically, or not so much?
Yeah, pretty, as I said, we pretty much overthinked every step and every detail, every module we used, every gear we used. So we really overthinked it, and
Yes.
it was like, I would say 95%.
Yeah.
It's really like
Wow.
that. And the last 5% did the rescue mountain guys do.
No, but it was really very close. The rendering and the real drone footage is so close. The positions where the thing ended up, which there was a lot of wiggle room. It was spot on actually, which surprised ourselves, to be honest.
Good job. And I guess the lesson is always leave some room for the mountaineering guys, no?
Yes, yes.
In the budget.
You need them.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I really loved it. I don't know if we have any final questions. If not, round of applause for these guys. Lichterloch, amazing project. Really cool stuff. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Moving up, we have one that's close to my heart, and I've actually never met him until today, but I saw his work on Reddit a few months ago, and I've always wondered, who is this VJ Monkey Man? So, VJ Monkey Man, if you do the honors, are you with us? I see. Muted.
Hello,
Oh,
you can
I
see
see
me on
movement.
the screen in Vienna. Hi.
Ah, okay. Here we go. True.
Oh, sorry, I can't hear you at the moment. 1 second. Now I should be hearing you.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
yeah, today I want to present you my university project, which is called Monkeybox. And it's a video synthesizer which you control with an Xbox 360 controller. And I've prepared a video to show you. I hope you will see it through the Zoom call, but it explains most of the stuff. 1 second, I will share it.
Make sure that you're sharing with the video option. Yeah,
Yes.
it looks like it. Awesome.
1 second. Yeah, it should be all right. So, just a moment.
Very cool. So what exactly we would just see? Walk us through it. I think you guys are muted at the moment.
Sorry, I had the wrong audio device, I think.
No
Do you hear
worries.
me?
Yes, you're back now.
Okay. So this is a live feed of the program. And as you can see it here, you can play around with it on the Xbox controller. The things you can do is, at first you have to set up the tempo with the A button, like it's the tap tempo you maybe know from other VJ or audio software, like 1, 2, 3, 4. You see the light on the exhaust changing as a kind of feedback, and all of the effects that are built into this use this BPM to get the right tempo. So at the beginning of the live performance or of any song, you set up the tempo, and then you can perform just using the controller. You can use the left stick to drive a car around with the car, And you can change the camera perspective with the right stick. You can use different perspectives and also changing field of view. And you can change the colors of the background and stuff. And I've built in some effects on the buttons. I will come to this later on how it all works. We'll just show you the functions of it. So
Cool.
here you can make the bloom match to the BPM and like a beat pump. I have a mosaic effect and a section of effects that can be activated with the Y button and that can be switched through. And well, that's a bit too heavy, I think, for the algorithm. Yeah, and with only using the layout of the controller, you can do your live VJ performance for any DJ and stuff. I think around 2 weeks ago, I've used it the first time live, and it was quite cool actually, because people were really interested in what I was doing with the Xbox controller. And there are also some other effects on the buttons of the back, and of course strobe. Yeah. And I've built in a reset button by request of some testers, so everything gets set back to normal. And now I will show you some of the patching. Like here, the centerpiece is the Xbox 360 controller node, which gives you float 32 values for the sticks. And for the triggers, as you can see here and here. And all the other buttons are just Boolean values. And I fed those into the sub-programs, kind of. So the most important one and the most complicated one is the tempo. 1 second. So 1 second, please.
Sure. Don't worry about it. Didn't we used to have a BPM detector
I'm back
node or
again.
something back in the day? Carry on. Sorry, I was just
Yeah.
thinking out loud.
So when you press the A button, you can adjust the BPM. I have to be honest and say I don't fully understand how this subprogram works, because a professor of mine helped me program it. But by principle, I think it starts a stopwatch once you press the button, and it calculates the delay between 2 presses of the button and takes the average of 3 or 4. And out of this, it calculates the BPM of the music you're trying to match. And here are the output nodes. Like you can, at full beat, you have like a 4/4 beat, at half beat only 2/4, and at quarter beat only 1/4 beat. And also you get the tempo as phase and half phase, and also as Boolean, which beats along. Here I had a sub-program for the camera, which basically you can have a switch of, you switch between different fixed camera angles, and the values of the sticks get added to the position of the orbit camera, kind of. And also I used a filter, so it isn't as twitchy and is more smooth when you flow around with the camera. So I don't know whether you see it here. So like this, you can flow around with the camera, and you can change the camera between fixed angles. And yeah, the background you saw, like the floor and the mountains in the back, is randomly generated by the program. Also, the textures I used are a texture material from a grid, and for example here with the floor, once you change the color, the global color values, it recalculates the textures as well. For the skybox, I just used the gradient, and the car, which is at the center of the whole program, is modeled in Blender and then imported with V4. And I've made some movement to the car, which is basically when you use the stick, it moves the car around. And for a good look and natural feeling, I've also had some like the bounce, which reacts to the BPM of the program. If I put it super fast, you see it bouncing up really fast. And I've made a little drift animation that it drifts to the side when you steer to the left or to the right. All this gets collected here at the root scene. Here are some lights that are added to the car, and some post effects, and I get a texture out of it, and I feed the texture into several texture effects, and these are layered on top of each other, so you can use all effects all together. Like you have the scene, and on top of the scene you have an edge detection and pixelate effect, and later on the strobe, which is with the invert node, and on the end is the mosaic. So if I press all the buttons at once, it still gives a functioning image, and these effects can all layer above each other. And in the end, I've put in a spout sender to use it in other programs, because I normally only use a Resolume for doing visuals. And so you can connect multiple programs. One weird thing I discovered was that when I used a spout receiver to show the texture that I'm building, it looks just better than when I use the normal texture from the program. I don't know why this is, but yeah, it's working that way. And this is the picture. Like here you have the picture that you get out in the end. And yeah, that's roughly the program. I mean, there are some sub-programs that I didn't explain, but I've been working on it for almost a year now as a semester's project from my arts bachelor. And it is I've decided to make it open source and free to download for everyone, because it should be like an entry program for VJs, for people who want to try it out, because Resolume, Touch Designer, all these things are quite expensive and complicated, and a lot of people know the Xbox controller and can use it, and everyone can start within minutes to make some visuals for a party or whatever. And so far it's actually working quite well. I've gotten some good feedback from people who have nothing to do with this and actually had a good time using it. Yeah, that's about it. Before I forget, I have some plans for future versions. I want to have a universal gamepad support that you can use whatever game controller you have at home. And I would like to build some sort of main menu or settings. And later on, there should be around 3 additional modules or games, kind of, which you can switch in between. And as a last step, I would like to optimize the performance so it would run on a mini PC like an Intel Celeron or an Office laptop or something like that. So it's you can carry it with you easily, and maybe power it via a power bank, but that you have a really small device that you can just put in your backpack if you want to do visuals. That's
Wow.
well gonna take some time, I guess.
Oh, well, good to hear you have future plans already in mind. Very
Yes.
cool.
Here is the
Very-
GitHub project page. If you're interested, just download it. Well, it's for free. I also put the vvvv project file there, so you can have a look at it. Just check it out, download it, and do whatever you want with it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Big round of applause. Mr. VJ Monkey Man. Super cool project.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, man. I love the idea that you're sharing it. I think I agree with you that it's a really like DJing and this kind of making interactive visuals is a really strong entry point. It's like how many of us got into this, at different stages. And I think it's something that's a little bit missing at the moment in there. So it's a great initiative. Thank you for that. Do we have any comments, questions? Berlin, Vienna? In the chat, I did get when you were commenting about how this patch you didn't fully understand. We got a comment from Simone saying, "Oh, don't worry. Sometimes I don't understand how it works, even when it was me who programmed it." So, yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. Domjay, I see you coming up.
Yeah, I have two quick comments. First of all, I really love the organization of the patch with all the paths and the way you boxed it. And I think especially since you're like sharing this project, you really put the work to make it understandable and organized well. So I love that, and the general visual as well. I wanted to say that I'm delighted by your use of the Xbox controller node that I made like years ago, and I see it in the wild. So it really makes me happy that like this stuff is used and
It's super useful.
practical.
It took it would have needed so much more work to extract like the values myself. So yeah, it was like the start of the program when I found this.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. And there's also a vector version of it. So for the movement, maybe it's better fit. But yeah, if you're transforming to the like multi input controller, then maybe you'll need something more generic. But I'm really happy that it like got you off the right start. Second thing, you mentioned with the spout that you have like a different sort of different visuals in it. It may be there's like a gamma conversion. I think that may be happening. That even without the spout, it may be just that. I've seen in my spout output, I had to actually do that to get the same output from vvvv to show up in OBS or like other programs. So there's like a gamma conversion that maybe the spout node is doing, and then when you send it and when you receive it, you actually see that the difference. So that just a thought, but amazing work. I love it. Like also like you're giving it for people to try out and like get really into VJing. I'm looking forward to see maybe more scenes and the plans that you set out. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I was also wondering if it was like a color space related implicit conversion thing happening somehow with the colors. We have some more comments coming in on YouTube for you, Monkey Man. Volume is real low. Oh, that's, I guess, for our technical crew. Maxime, seems like the volume is down. You have some love from Jorge Flores. Also, I really enjoy the initial soundtrack that you use. What was it? Knight Rider, the 80s.
It was a remix of Knight Rider, and
Super good. Good choice.
Inspiration for the car model is Toyota Corolla from the 80s. like the 86.
It's an AE86.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice. So there you go. Insider tips that you wouldn't hear anywhere else. Well, we have no more comments or questions from anybody. Thanks again. Oh, we have something. Yes.
I wanted to say that first of all, I really like the car model, and regarding the movement, yes, this car definitely has to drift. And I really like the small details. I really liked it. The car did some little bumps because it really gave character to the car. And I also like the strategy of integrating the UI into this into the color of the flame that came out of the
Exhaust.
exhaust.
Yeah.
Yes. So I really like the little details about it.
Yeah.
If I can just quickly one more thing with the tempo. Know that there is an Ableton Link integration in vvvv. So if you ever think of making this like a box that maybe integrates with other program like Ableton Live or anything that plays music, and you wanted to sync it automatically without the tapping, there's Ableton Link like that can give you all of that with other software.
Oh, thanks. I think I'm gonna add that. That would be useful.
All right, cool. Thanks again. Super cool. And go and try it out. You
Thanks a
got
lot,
the
everyone.
links, and yeah, try it out. Show us what you make with it. Super cool. Quick check with our audience. Is the audio on YouTube any better? Can we get some feedback there? If you can give us a shout on the comments. If there's anything wrong with the YouTube feed, let us know in the chat and we'll look at it as quickly as possible. Thanks. And thanks to Maxime, who is doing all of this for us in the back. Up next, straight from Mexico, dear to my heart as well. I had the pleasure to interview them back in Node 2020 or something. And I see some comments. The audio is louder, Maxime. Thank you. So our next guest is, again, straight from Mexico. It's a really nice studio making some really cool V4 artistic related projects back in Mexico. And without much more introduction, we have with us F3 Studio today. So how are you guys?
Hi.
Hola.
Hi everyone. All good here. Happy to be here with you. And yeah, I will talk a little bit of our work as a studio from Mexico. So I will share with you my screen just to show you our work. Yeah, you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm using our website because there is all set up. So just a brief introduction. I am Gaby from Mexico. I am new media artist, and I am together with my partner Jorge. We are F3 Studio, which is an new media art studio that works and focus all the work in the like form, sound and space in a very monochromatic way. So yeah, this is us. We have worked mainly, we work everything with vvvv. That's why we're here. We're very much vvv lovers. So yeah, with that we work like immersive installation, generative graphics, light installation, AV performance, and so this is a little bit of a past immersive installation we made here in Mexico City in an amazing space. We also work like audiovisual performances. I don't have video here, but this is like a performance, and light installations. This is a case that we use both light and projection. Also, everything that we do is pretty much sync with sound design that we made also for that, because for us it's very important to have both senses like real well synced, the sound and the visual. So yeah, that's a brief introduction to what we do. We are not focused just in one media, as you can see. We love to explore different mediums, mainly with light. But yeah, this is our work. I would love to share a little bit of our most recent project, that it is an immersive installation. And I will show you here now. This is my badge. Maybe more than an explanation, this will be also like a confession, because everything that you saw, we were working with beta still, and just with this project we took the decision just to switch to gamma for once, after a long period of denial, to be honest. Because I struggle a lot with the transition. I really love how beta works, so my mind was always thinking in beta. Even every time I was trying to make any project in gamma, I got frustrated, because I always was thinking like, I just know how to resolve this in beta pretty easy. So, and here in gamma, I cannot move forward from step one. So, yeah, this is so for that reason, this project is very important to me, because finally I switched to gamma for good. Actually, I was enrolled to the courses. It was funny, because I thought at the beginning that I didn't need the beginners, so I enrolled in the intermediate course, and it was super cool. But I still didn't get a lot of things, because I didn't know basic stuff. So after that, I enrolled in the beginners course. I took something that Christoph told me, like when I was talking about my background. He said like, okay, from now, do not open beta ever again. So yeah, that's what I did. Also, thank you, Christoph, for the invite, for being here. Yeah. So this is an immersive installation that we just worked out. Is an audiovisual project called Suzuku, which is inspired in Japan. We were invited to present something in an art exhibition that is, the theme is Japan. So that's why all the works have to be inspired in Japan. And this is a little bit inspired in the continuity and discontinuity concept under three main guide concepts that are graduality, divisibility, and mutability. And here is the main project. With this project, the main challenges that I have was to, for example, the cube map, because this is not a space that, this is an irregular space. It's more like a rectangle space. So I took the reference of the cube map from the whole patch and just translated to a rectangle box, which it's I make the setup of the cameras to have the different aspect ratios from each wall, so they can so I can have like seamless textures in all the walls and the floor. And also other challenge is that the space, for example, they share with the artist all the templates, so they already have, so the artist just can focus on the creative part and not in the technical. But they didn't have any templates for vvvv, so I have to resolve it all from scratch. So yeah, this is how I just translated to being from the cube map to a not a cube map, not a cube map. I made it myself, and after that I have to unfold this view. This is the unfold view because the space also is not prepared to run real time. So we have to export different and independent files for each wall and for the floor. So with the unfold, I also prepare a multiple non-real-time writer, also taking reference from the already known non-real-time writer. So I just take the main loop outside, and I could set up the five views to record it non-real time, but simultaneously because of the graphics, because they are like generative, so we have to record it all at once. And also, as I was telling you a little bit, for us it's pretty much super important the sound design. So all of our work is we take care of the synchronization with the audio. So for that reason, and because it was a non-real time recording, we use the Kairos line timeline to first to record our notes from the sound design and to be able to record the graphics in non-real time. Also, for this, we figured it out. Kairos have a limited amount of keynotes you can have because at some point it was crashing with all the keynotes that we record. So I have to separate the project into parts so I can have the 3 sets of timelines for each part of the project. And yeah, pretty helpful, the Kairos editor, because of that we could record in non-real time, and when we synced it with the sound and export it as a video, it was all super faithful to the every second, every time. I didn't have to do any post work in the video because everything was super synced. So we were pretty happy with this library with Kairos. Also, yeah, you were before talking a little bit of the link with Ableton Live. We also use it to have a previous view of all the synchronization with our sound design and our graphics. So yeah, I'm sure this is still a mess of a patch, but I'm pretty happy that we already resolved one huge project with Gamma. So it's mainly the thing we wanted to share with you. And yeah, I can show you from here. This is like the preview of the work. Actually, right now it can run with the Kairos record. We haven't seen this in real life. Actually, we just sent the files, and this exhibition is starting, I think, tomorrow or next week.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
we are also pretty much excited to see how this is going to be in real life. So yeah, for this is pretty much the thing. Also, the setup of the cameras, it's prepared to have some 3D scenes, But because we were super inspired in the manga graphics, at the end for this project we ended up making a lot of 3D and 2D texture mapping to the box. So with that we avoid a lot of deformation that it's super easy to have the deformation of the graphics with this proportion of the cameras and the aspect ratios of the walls. But yeah, at the end we use more like 2D graphics. That wasn't intentional, just it happens because of our inspiration in Japan. So yeah, I think this is pretty much what I have to show you. Uh, for example, I have other projects in Gamma, but yeah, now after the courses, I'm able to say that uh, the projects that I make before, they were already, I was working and thinking in the beta logics, so they are pretty much, I don't know, like super basic, but really, really messy. And with this one, it was super happy to me that I already know what I was doing. So yeah, I really enjoy also the courses with Christoph and Rosie and Christian also for the intermediates. And we took some of with you, Randall. You have also like two courses in that. Yeah. Uh, so this is it, and yeah, we hope to show you to. So we will show to you later if we can how this is uh, in real life when we can see the project too.
Looking very much forward to that, Gabi. So nice to see you again. A big hug to the Mexican visuals and the interactive media crew from Costa Rica. Super cool project. Thanks so much for sharing. I'm very happy to hear that you made the jump to Gamma. I know many of us went through a very similar experience, and I imagine some people out there are still experiencing this. Oh, I know how to do it much faster in beta. Why do I need to do all these classes and pads? And at the beginning, it can be a bit of a challenge, I guess, especially if you feel proficient in beta. But as I can see from you, I think once you get it, the reward is there, you know, and it really feels good.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you can
happy to
see the
hear.
difference like immediately. And to be honest, also the courses, the beginner's course was like therapy for me because I was like understanding everything and I was like, yeah, this now it feels good. Yeah.
Okay, so big up also for the Node Institute for providing all this infrastructure for learning, and big up, of course, to all the people who are out there putting courses, and Christoph also for bringing in all his students to show us the beautiful work they're doing. And yeah, Gabi, keep us posted. I want to see how this looks like. We have for
Yeah,
you a couple of, I think, one question from Simone Marin on the YouTube chat. He's asking, so the unfold view takes into account the camera view from scene view 3D? I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
um
Maybe.
maybe if I understand correctly, yes, the original setup is a 3D scene with five cameras, one per each wall and one for the floor. Uh, but since we need to have independent files, yeah, the unfold view takes the texture out in an independent way. So actually, I can. These are just quads, render quads that I can put in any position because they are already independent here for the unfold view. I set up in this way so I can still have reference of the space and the correct order of each wall. But yeah, in here, they already are individuals. So, and this is because we needed to have the five independent files. So pretty handy to have the output as video, for example. That is what we need for this space in this case, in this particular space.
Super cool. I also imagine Nathan is super happy seeing his Kairos timeline out there in the wild. And you mentioned you were meeting some sort of limitation on how many keyframes you could have. That's probably something he would want to know about and fix in the future. So I hope he's watching. Nathan, you have some work. He sent me some pictures near a lake recently, so maybe it's time to go back to the city and fix some stuff for us, Nathan. Do we have any comments, questions? I don't know, ideas for our lovely people at F3 Studio, maybe from Berlin, maybe from the chat? No? Okay, well, in that case, thank you again for sharing. Oh,
time in
hang on.
Dubai some years ago.
Yes.
And it was the first time I had seen, it was a series of works of the Oaxaca scams. And it was the first time I had seen like really meaningful like 3D scanning. And I was so like just in awe because it was like some years ago. So I like immediately followed F3 Studio when I saw that works in Dubai. So for me, it's super exciting to have you here. I've been like fanboying from a distance. So thank you for sharing your work. That's all.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be here to also share my work.
Well, super cool. Thank you, F3 Studio. Round of applause for you. Thank you for sharing, and we hope to see you again soon. You're always invited to our meetups, of course. And greetings to Jorge, also back there in Mexico. All right. Thank you again. Up next, we have our last presentation before we go into a little break. So you can stretch your legs, pet your cat, and do all those things you've been waiting to do. And our next guest is Ofe Smilansky. So Ofe, if you're with us, welcome very much. I know you have a special guest appearing with you as well. Yes. Welcome.
Hello. It was super interesting to see everybody until now. My name is Ofer Smilansky. I'm an audiovisual artist. I came from music, started to make electronic music, still like MS-DOS, like a long time ago, and got into kind of nodal Max MSP stuff later, Reactor and Max MSP, and that kind of dragged me into the audiovisual things, because I think like a lot of you guys, I really like when there's a very loud sound and a flashing light at the same time. Kind of rewards us in a weird way. I don't know why. It keeps it's a gift that keeps giving. It's amazing. So I do that. I still do this. I do like audiovisual work. I compose the sound and compose the light, mostly light now, much less video than in the 2000s. And I use, if I do video, I still do it sometimes, but I try to use it somehow as a light source, or either with projectors into smoke, or recently for this work with LED screen, which I think is a very interesting medium because it emits a very large amount of light and can create very beautiful environments playing with space. It's just extremely high resolution light source. And that's the way I approach the video for this piece mostly. This piece is called Horizons. The idea behind the piece, or the concept, was an observation of nature and to kind of investigate what gives awe in nature, what I find beautiful, or what everybody finds beautiful. Is kind of a consensus. It's like a sunset, how beautiful a sunset is, but not to try to create a sunset, but to kind of synthesize, to bring back to basic what is beautiful in sunset. And if you analyze it like in a very dry way, you say it's gradients, it's slowly changing gradients. And like if you watch waves, so it's a repetition, but it's never really repeating. It's some kind of like random repetition. So it has like expectations, and it happens a few times and then it happens suddenly different. And so kind of trying to observe a few phenomena which are kind of a consensus of beauty, and to extract a principle of each of that phenomena, and to work as that as chapters for the work. The work was commissioned, well, an open call for a light festival in Brussels, in Mons first, which is in Belgium. And then in Brussels, I kind of had a lucky opportunity that they both took my open calls without consulting one another. So I had a setup, then a breakdown the same day that I had a setup on the other installation.
No.
So that was quite intense, and it was -5 degrees and raining. It was very, very hard. The physical representation of the piece itself is a very large, I'm gonna present maybe. There was an option to have video optimized for video sharing.
Yeah, that's an important one. Also, the audio one, if your video has any audio.
I did it. So it was a very large LED screen. In Mons, it was 80 meters wide with 1 meter height. And in Brussels, it was, this is the Brussels version, what we are seeing now. It's 60 meters wide, but with a double screen. So there's also LED screens at the back to light. You see the light of the trees in the back is coming actually from the LED screens which are on the back, especially here, you can see. It's also with spatialized sound, so it's 5.1 sound, immersive sound. It was kind of a rash decision, but I've jumped headfirst into Gamma. I was a beta person for many, many years, and I jumped into Gamma 2 months before the starting of the project, and very quickly realized that I'm incapable of doing it myself. So I called for help, and Dom came to help and helped me to patch.
Was happy to. Thank you.
Yeah,
I was very happy to.
Yeah, it was a fun project. I'm gonna quickly, before I dive into the thing, I'm gonna try to show a bit of video. I made a 360 video, which I uploaded to YouTube, but YouTube refuses to realize it's a 360. So today, like 2 hours ago, I made a very, very quick edit. So it's a very badly edited. I'm gonna jump a bit inside just so we can see the different parts. I'm butchering my own work, it's horrible. So, still everybody with me?
Yes, super cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so the first challenge for technical kind of challenge, because I think it's what interests a lot of people here, was the resolution, because it's 80 meters wide, and if I correctly remember, 144 pixels each meter, which adds up to 17,280 pixels wide, which is quite big, and is the limit of the GPU. So the GPU cannot create textures that big, that wide. So that was the first challenge that Dom helped me with. So in the end, we created textures which was as big as the GPU could handle, and then stretched it a bit, which is a hack that happens in the corpus scales part here. Then again, very similar to what F3 were talking, it was not a real time. I didn't want it to have a huge machine running for all this festival in the cold with the possibilities of breakdown. So I had it rendered and just played back. And then I use Ableton to sequence everything. There's another computer here you don't see. Sending OSC and MIDI for V, and to able to offline it, I had to record all the parameters. And maybe Dom, you want to explain how we did that?
Yeah, I'd love to. So it's a different approach to what we saw previously, right? Which was like a fully in V4 timeline with Kairos and then like recording that. We actually we're thinking about Kairos, but I felt it's maybe not completely ready for prime time, and with the keyframes, I hear that maybe there was one thing, and also Ofer is like really working in Ableton Live to do his music production, and then uses that as the source timeline and synchronizes it. So what we ended up doing is leveraging the global channels that Gamma is now offering, and basically we build this like side recording mechanism that we can kind of put independently of the whole system, and then inject the parameters back. So basically everything that's coming in through OSC or MIDI or so on is mapped in this one patch and mapped onto global channels. And then basically we have like multiple modes that we run the patch in. One mode is one mode is just the general testing, right? So we have this like live playing around. You're using the global channels directly. Then we go to recording mode that is live. It's still in real time. We also disable all the different visuals, like outputs and scene switches that can actually kill the frame rate for a moment. So we just do this like pure recording of parameters, and it's dumped into a file, and we use like the interpolator library to then play it back while we're doing the non-real-time record, right? So we have the parameters now; they're actually tied to real like time moments in the installation, and it's still tied to the like real audio source. And when we're playing it back, we can then play it on the non-real-time frame rate. It's using the timestamps of all the different parameters and injects them back into the patch through global channels. And the whole rest of the patch is still using global channels, so it's completely transparent. And that way you can actually like do the recording and then play back. So once we got it working, it actually I think it was worked quite well, and Ofer was able to create this like really smooth output that was perfectly synced to the audio. Obviously it took some iterations to get there.
Yeah. And also there's certain disadvantages of doing that offline thing. especially of programming outside and waiting for render to finish when it's -5 and already 3 o'clock in the night, and you've set up the whole day. That was less fun, I must admit. Thank God for candy and cigarettes. I don't know. I used heavily. Thank you, Don, for the presentation. I used
People are also
heavily.
requesting, sorry, Olaf, to interrupt you. People want to see the patch more closely. So even, I know you're not currently presenting the patch itself, but if you could zoom in, people are curious about what's going on. Thanks.
In which part of it?
I think that there's, by the way, for the scene switching, it's very similar to one of the previous works with basically 2 scenes being selected and then crossfading between that. And I think I would love to release some sort of this like recording framework, because it's so generic that you could put it to anything that uses global channels. So I think that then people will be able to also dig into it a bit more on just purely the recording part.
Is there like a special request for which part of the patch you see?
Simone Marin just said more soon, please. We are curious. So I don't know. People want to see, really want to see the vector graphics working there.
Yeah, I can show the parameter record part. I have a huge screen, so it's a bit, for me, everything is huge. So it's hard to say what is, here in the simulation, here on the side, you can see the back screen and the front screen at the same time. This is the back screen and the back. I had to send them a 4K texture to the LED processor. So, and then we cropped it into pieces and mapped it, every LED panel into these strips. I used very heavily, well, this patch now uses a lot the, oh, this one is ugly, sorry. The fluid solver thing with the optical flow. This, and then there's
the fuse stuff, is it? Yeah. Fuse, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is part is fuse. The rest of the piece uses much more the fluid simulations, like quite actually just taking the help patch and taking off what I don't need and fucking around with what I liked. So, and then there's very simple like gradients into post-processing, like displays and blurs and feedback loops and stuff like this. In this part, then the other parts are much more, yeah, like, yeah, this is literally the help patch. Yeah? If somebody already went into it, it is just controlling parameters in the help patch, basically. Lazy person that I am.
I think that's a lot of our workflow in the industry. I think that's what the help patches are for. No, you open it, copy it, and change it a little bit. That's it.
Exactly. At least I could have taken off the original stuff that I don't do. Yeah, there are all kind of very similar architectures. This one also is part of the help patch. It's a fluid simulation, which I find extremely beautiful and endless fun to see. I can go into this part quickly on the overton.
Oh wow.
Where it's the sunset. Yeah. This is something I discovered in Gamma, which I love and I'm gonna use forever. Is using this value map thing. Taking one texture and value mapping it to a noise creates such beautiful things. You just a value map on the scale, or on the time scale, frequency. It's endless fun. Value maps, and I use them everywhere.
Yeah, I think Chris has some nice tutorials in the Node Institute about noise and all this stuff profuse, where he shows how to basically add noise to anything you can think of, and it gives you so many options. No, it's so crazy.
Yeah. The one thing that I've discovered through the hard way is about LED screens really show the artifact of compression. So bending is really, really obvious on LED screens. So I had to play a lot with adding noise out actually to the output, just like overlaying everything with noise to fool the compressors, the encoders, for them to recalculate what is gradient.
And this is because you have to render it out, basically.
Yeah. So
and then it
everything is
goes through
rendered
a
out
compression.
to a PNG sequence, then with FFmpeg compressed. And I've tried endless amounts of compressions to see what can still run smoothly but look okay. I think in the end, ProRes was kind of a winner between performance and compression, but then with some debending stuff from FFmpeg and etc. The ventilators on the computer is starting to go very high here, so I'm going to turn off the render. There's any questions?
And like an image stack or DDS wasn't an option because you wanted it to run on a small machine. That was the requirement.
It was running on a mini PC, like a small NUC. And still a 4K. I mean, it's not huge, but still a 4K, and it had to run very, very stable because it was running for a few weekends, and I did not feel like going every time to debug.
Fair enough.
Yeah. At some point, I become lazy. Is there any question? Are there any questions? Should I stop the share?
I have more of a comment.
Yes, please.
Regarding the, I didn't quite get how you did it in Ableton, but if I found once I had to have lots of programming with OSC from Ableton to live, and also some stuff the other way. And the way I did the non-real-time render of it was basically I made a little recorder, I called it, that had basically stepped the timeline of Ableton one single video frame forward. And then when it does that, even though the timeline is paused, then it sends all the OSC data. So you could basically step through the whole timeline in Ableton and then have all the OSC and all the patching and stuff. You could do a live tweak preview thing and then record that and then do it in low resolution, and then you could play it back in non-real-time resolution afterwards.
Yeah. And with OSC, you sent out OSC from Ableton. It was OSC that you were sending out from Ableton?
Yes, I made some live devices specific for this thing.
Yeah.
So I had a live knobs and tweaks and stuff. So we could in Ableton we could either record automation or we could type in automation, and then it would control 4V, and then some of the stuff with the game controller that needed to control other stuff was sent from 4V to Ableton. Yeah, quite a while back. It was in beta. So I guess it might be more for Dom J.
Yeah, I mean, it's for both of us, right? It was a challenge we were figuring out. This project specifically also uses some real-time audio analysis, if I remember right. So that I'm not sure how well that would work with the kind of frame stepping.
That wouldn't work.
Yeah. So it like, but it is definitely a viable approach to also like send these individual frames, and I'm sure it could work with Ableton. It can work with Chatain and all the different timelines, and what we've seen previously with Kairos. But yeah, with the audio analysis, we really needed something that we could just run it in real time, then basically snapshot all the different values across time, and then play it back. And I'd really love to get around to maybe like patching a cleaner framework out of that, and then you kind of put a box, and you can record like a just a general non-real-time rendering framework where you can record this from wherever, and then play it back, because it really turned out to work. It makes huge files, kind of, because we're recording every frame, like all the parameters, all the values. That there's basically no optimization to also avoid some sort of interpolating artifacts, as we do interpolate between the times that we actually capture, right? It's like when you end up in different times where you're capturing, and then when you're playing back, so it needs to be interpolated. But yeah, I see it's a very general problem that people are solving, and over and over. And
non-real-time audio.
Yeah, non-real-time audio
in general, no?
non-real-time like parameters, like, or anything dynamic that's coming in. So it would be lovely to have something kind of standard in the vvvv ecosystem to solve that.
Absolutely, and this goes back into Simone Marin's YouTube comment, which is saying that specifically, he's saying Gamma is not non-real-time friendly, and it's nice to see how everyone is figuring out how to do the job, get this done. And then he went on with some technical comments that I think maybe are more for you and Olaf, Domje, to check out in your own time. I'm not going to read them out loud, but something about 8K at 60 FPS and limitations and whatnot. Maybe there's some hidden important information there. But yeah, super cool project. Thanks for the input also, Sune. And thanks for sharing again. If we don't have any more questions, I think it'll be a good moment to go into our break. Shall we say it's currently 1:37 Costa Rican time, so for you guys it's probably 8:37. Yep. Shall we say we come back in 13 minutes, so 8:50? Does that work for everybody? Yep. All right, so 30-minute break. Go grab your, big round of applause for Offer, first of all. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing again, and for Domje.
It's the first time I'm seeing the final product, so I'm really happy it came together, and amazing work, Offer. I really love it.
Yeah, thanks so much again.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So see you back at 8:50 or in 12 minutes, and enjoy your break. Bye-bye. Up in theory. I don't know what's up in Berlin. Let me check over here. I see people are back. Are we still live, Maxime? Or do you have to send us back out into the world?
Still live.
Okay, good thing we've been good boys. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. If you happen to see this on the U-Bahn or the bus, remember there's some people at the Node Institute right now sharing some drinks and the warmth and lovely company of the patchers you know and love. If that's too far for you, maybe you're near Vienna and you want to join our table over there in Vienna, and share the meetup in real time with actual people. And if not, of course, you're always welcome to join us on the Zoom call as well, if you want to interact a little bit more directly. And with that said, I'm going to give it up for our lovely team representing the Node Institute, which have some updates for us tonight. So please.
So firstly, I have like a non-Node Institute thing and more of my own thing first, which is some of you know me as the curator for Manifest.io, the Symposium for New Media and Electronic Art. We were super excited to host Quadrature, Sebastian and Yule for the exhibition that happened a couple weeks ago now. And we had such great response also from the community, and it was really great to host a V4 work. And so my special announcement for that is that Manifest.io will see its first symposium in London. And so we'll be in London, April 11th and 12th. And we've had huge interest from the touch designer community. And it would be great to see like V4 community out there. So if you want like a special V4 meetup, please like DM the Node Institute. We need to know like that there's interest. And I'm happy to organize a V4 meetup at Manifest.io in London, which will take place April 11th and 12th. So if you're interested in new media, electronic art, we have an amazing space at Goldsmiths University. So you can find us there at manifest.io.berlin for the Instagram users. And for those not on Instagram, as many of you are not, just email me at the Node Institute or info@thenodeinstitute.org. That's out of the way. I put my Node Institute hat on now to say that our upcoming V4 beginners class, we have our summer season kickstarting off with our V4 beginners class. Gabby also mentioned such great things about it. We had Hanif earlier also on the Zoom, who was one of our new intakes for the season. And so summer season is starting March 24th. I have to confess, I'm not a V4 user. And I find it like a very steep learning curve. So I always say, like, if you have frenemies or enemies that you want to bring into the V4 community, throw them this way, throw them our way. This past season, we had a really awesome class, and we had students that were coming from biochemistry, from dance, from theater, from like philosophers to computational programmers. So it's such an eclectic group of people, the V4 community. So I would love to see more people join that. So that's March 24th. That's led by Christoph, who can speak more about the course outline. But our kind of big announcement for that is, for the first time ever, we're welcoming a patron for the V4 class, and we are super excited to have Rafik Anadol as our patron for the V4 beginners course. So that's like,
wow.
Yeah, so throw the
Super
virtual confetti. And so you'll also see some news and updates coming from his direction. So anyone that's curious about V4 obviously knows about Rafik's work. And so, yeah, we're super excited that he's jumped on board to be a patron for our V4 beginners. Now I pass the virtual ball to Christoph, who will talk about the course outline.
Actually, we got a change in plans. I wanted to show the course outline now, like going through all the courses from the first class to the last class. But we have a change of plans because we are live in Bilbao at the moment. Simon and me are working on the set of Rafik Anadol in the Guggenheim Museum of Bilbao. And this
Wow.
is now, I'd like to pass over to our live correspondent in the exhibition room upstairs. And I will join very quickly upstairs. I just want to run up and also go into the image. Yeah, see you on the other side, and then I will talk about the course outline. Just a second.
Super cool.
Simon,
Hello,
please
hello.
tell us how it is. How is it?
Hello, hello. Are we live? Hello, test.
Hello. Yes, you
Is the
are
microphone
live.
working?
Welcome.
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Hey, this is
Welcome.
vvvv TV. This is vvvv TV live from the field. We are just
Amazing.
announcing the new opening of Refix exhibition at Guggenheim Museum.
Amazing time. I mean, first of all, thanks to Simon and Christoph and everyone in vvvv for many years. Amazing work as always. Amazing challenge. I wish you can see this madness. I think 50 channel projectors, real-time mapping, real-time data, insane
Wow.
DDS players. Just steroids on steroids. I'm
So
super honored.
quickly, let's talk about. So we have 42 projectors.
48.
48. What is the resolution you're playing?
So, I mean, technically 20,000 plus, but we went to 16K. I mean, like
Wow.
still an intense, and we have slicing right across all the nodes. We have 12 servers, and then we were able to 3D map it. We have 3D mapping of the room. We have illusions that using that, and then we have a real time, basically. Oh, that's the part.
Yay.
That's the part. Hello. So that's the madness part also. Another madness. We have many madnesses, and this is the part you can see every day. We have unique from the cloud, sustainable cloud, no harm to nature, ethical data, no other commercial blah blahs, pure, real, sustainable part that is done all in vvv.
Also,
and full system routine, right? That's running on.
Scalable is involved as
Yes.
well, right?
So the mapping is insanely challenging, right? We are matching 48 channels at the same time.
That's correct.
Incredibly challenging edge blendings, but it's perfectly working.
So yeah, I think also a second time for you as a studio to use scalable, right?
Yes,
I guess
yes.
with great support from the
This was the feature. That was the first, right?
That was the first one, exactly. So
Another challenge.
So, and what else? Like we have, I don't know.
There is another crazy data land challenge that I think, end of the year will be, and hopefully Venice Biennale architecture.
Right.
Some more exciting things for next year. Super honored, always happy. Anyone touching this software and somehow super grateful to you.
Right. So I would say that's it from the field. Thank you very much, and talk
Thank
to you
you
soon.
both for the piece. Welcome. Hi.
Bye-bye.
Wow,
Thanks
wow,
to
wow.
you. That's awesome.
Incredible. That was unexpected. All right. I guess we wait for Christoph to pop back up. That was a nice surprise. Super cool. Bilbao, was it? Oh, let's grab a drink while we wait. Oh, he's back. Super cool.
Awkward-
Thanks for that, man.
Awkward
That was,
silence in here, right?
that was a very nice surprise, Chris.
I don't know if I can make the presentation now. I'm out of breath. Sorry.
Take your time.
So maybe somebody else will take over now and I will show the course program then later. I just
Okay.
need a second, really.
We can do that.
All
No
right.
problem. Thanks for
Thank you
that,
very
Chris.
much.
We'll get back to you in a minute. So we can move up next after that beautiful surprise. And what we have up next is none other than Chris with the Fuse Lab to show us new contributions, I hear. Hello, Chris. Welcome.
Yeah, hello everyone. I hope it sounds okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Yes, so I would like to show some latest additions. So the biggest one would be Gaussian Splatting, which is not yet in the library, but soon to come. It's a work together with Tebian and Mozzi. So it's funded also partly from the university there. Yeah, and super stoked to show you today. It's running. And basically, Tebian wanted to show the sorting routines and stuff. It's one crucial part of the Gaussian splatting, which we wait to be integrated into VL Stride. as a main feature. So it's not just Gaussian splatting, but it's also fast GPU sorting. And I guess that will be also then integrated into more fuse parts like particle rendering with alpha and correct depth sorting and stuff like this. Okay, but that said, let me share screen and show you a bit around like what is currently there. Yeah, so what you see here is one of these typical, wait, still need to start. It's one of the typical Gaussian splat scenes. So this is like one of the repos, one of these test setups. I guess we all know the bicycle, which we of course also need to see later, like we're talking about Gaussian splatting. Yeah, it was a bit challenging to implement this because every splat needs to be rotated in the right way for this to work. And it was like an iterative process, and it got better and better and better. And then I thought it's done. It was not done. Yeah, but finally, I think everything is working fine. So what I did was I had this reference implementation, basically this one, which is a Python-based Gaussian splat viewer in OpenGL. And so I really put them next to each other and put the camera on the same angle and then compared the two to really make sure it looks identical. Yeah. And basically what I ended up with is this font here. So that was the last thing basically to match here, the store. Yeah. And there were still like some small offsets, but now it really looks the same. So I'm quite sure it's working correctly now. If we come a bit to the rendering, so my plan would be to add this one to the PLY package of Fuse. So it's loaded as PLY. It's just working with binary files. If we come to the loader, so this is basically the part where we set the attributes. Not going too deep in here. It's basically loading the PLY into a buffer and then putting the buffer into all these Gaussian attributes, which are then attributes in the Fuse compute pipeline. So it's not just statically loaded, but it's in the Fuse compute pipeline, and you can like put stuff on top on it, like more like particle based, which we will come later on to that. And also what you see, there's something like these vertex element names and index of. So I try to make the loader not just hard-coded for these particular files, but hopefully for others as well. But there might also be PLY files that fail from the beginning, and so the loader will need to be adjusted. But still, I think it could be quickly adjusted. Yeah, like the system is already built to do that. What else might be interesting? So I took, like, these are the basically the main calculations, like how you handle this rotation in space, which is quite crucial, of these splats. And I translated those from OpenGL to HLSL with ChatGPT. So that's something I discover, I guess, as many of you too. Yeah, like that it's getting much more powerful. You get shit done faster. And it's also something I'm a bit thinking of, like how to, like how far low level makes patching still sense. Yeah, in some degree, yes, in others not. But in this case, I decided to implement those nodes as functions. So this is basically, I spare you the details, but just that you see, this is basically under the hood how these things are implemented. And I just forwarded those in this nodes. So you see it's called this mix and function node, which loads this file and calls this function and makes it a node, basically. Yeah, there are different render nodes. So I guess this is also interesting how this all renders. So there's this Gaussian renderer, which gets the data. These are like the sorted IDs, which come from the depth sort, which is what Tebian has built. And also the data which comes from the peer Y. And now I think one really interesting part is, other than usual point clouds, with these splats, it gets more into a kind of painting, which I really like. So if we, for example, play with this threshold, which is how much of the Gaussian you still show. So if we make this smaller, you now see that the Gaussians are more like quads, but still like the image is still interesting. Yeah, because of the spatial scattering of the things and also the different sizes. And so I guess that's really something to play with and have fun. I have some more pixel shaders. Like this one is using the splat and like more graphically drawing it, which I think is also interesting. So it's quite vivid and comic-like.
Yep. Almost like a toon shade or
yeah, this is the same, but with
thing.
a bit more blending, like to make it more like brush-like. And then I have another one, which maybe shows you a bit better the splats. So this was a bit more for debugging. So just to get an idea. So for every splat, basically, we render one of these boxes. So it's quite a lot. Yeah. Let's say, for example, this splat here, like this thin line, right? And this was one of the latest improvements. Like before, they were all just screen-aligned quads. So that was like in the Python implementation, and I had to, I wanted to adjust that so that basically the quad is rotated and not the splat in the quad. Like otherwise you might end up like if you have a 50-degree really thin quad, a splat with a really big quad, with a lot of pixels wasted. So like this, it's less pixels you have to render. But again, you see like the scenery, I think it's really interesting. So I'm kind of encouraged to play more with these things. And hopefully you also too soon. So far to the basic implementation. And I also have one thing that I've already posted also in the element chat. Let me just find it. So this one's showing a bit how it could come together in the pipeline. So you see this sphere, so like depth testing, you can kind of combine this with other things as well. Yeah, like the sphere is now just a stupid stride sphere. But of course, it could be more complex, probably also ray-marched scenes and stuff. And here you also see a transition from the splat into a more like animated particle system with a noise. And it's also a smooth transition from the splat to the particle sprite. Because if we would just move the splats around, that would look weird to a certain degree. So you see like the bending works at the beginning, then it's like more like warping geometry. But if you get too far, it might look odd. But of course, that's also artistic vision. But there's for sure more to play with here. Yeah, so I guess that will be, probably infused like in the repo version in the next 2 weeks, I would say.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully. Because it's mainly done. Yeah, so it's like the node set is sorted out. So it should soon be there. So thanks also to Mozzi and Tebian for their support. So it was a team effort. So far to the Gaussian splatting. And then maybe some small things. So I know I haven't shared a lot of progress on Fuse lately, but there's still a lot happening. So unfortunately, I'm pretty much in project work right now. So do not have the same time to care for Fuse as before. And most of the changes are project related. And so the thing gets a bit into certain directions where it's developed better and others which would need to keep up. So I hope to get towards the end of the year to have a bit more time to develop Fuse further. So one thing I'm also checking right now is Touch Designer. Not to switch, but to be inspired. And of course, it's really like a relief to see like a node window like with maybe 500 nodes and not like field like 50,000. And of course, like Fuse also is a beast, and I'm aware, and I also follow the forum threads. So I think it's too challenging. I mean, I love it, but I develop it. So of course I know every node, but I guess the learning curve is quite steep in some parts. And yeah, so one thing I would really like to check is if we could make like a Fuse version that works with 30 nodes, like to really think dramatically different. I'm not sure if it works, yeah, but that's the current intention. And make the nodes more like how they work, like in Touch Designer, it seems more to be on configuration of nodes, while in BL, a lot of stuff you need to know nodes, how to put this together, while it could also be in part of a configuration, and then the configuration could lead you to something working, yeah? But it would be more self-explanatory than knowing every node. And so that's partly something I'm thinking about right now. Yeah, and then maybe to start with some more images. I was looking into fractals also. Something interesting like this. This.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is basically
particle system on the fractal now. Wow, nice.
Yeah, so this is basically a node where you, as you see here, put in the text coord. Could be, of course, any kind of coordinate. Like in this case, it's a particle position in 2D. And it generates this fractal. And this is like the raw form out of it. But as you see here, like with other functions, like here with this hash, for example, you get really nice graphical stuff that you could also combine with outlines. So this would be a more graphical output. And yeah, it can really create amazingly complex textures. Like if we zoom out here, there's a lot of detail as you see. And it's like cool and interesting to set up. Like I can play with the octaves and take out detail. This all works real time. So you can move around in the texture. So you see there's like a lot of interesting detail. We zoom in here and we could now add detail back. Like, I think it's really interesting. Like for this more like graphical stuff, like there are texture packets which sell this like for $100, whatever, yeah. And like this, you would have it in real time, fully accessible, and with a lot of complexity.
And infinite variations also, like you just tweak the values around and get new stuff.
Yeah. So as often like the shader code itself is inspired by shader toy stuff. So I studied like 2D, like these kind of fractals basically, which are, yeah, like these kind of mirror folds. It's more working like with absolutes, yeah, and not, so it's not like round shapes, like stuff that we probably see later. I saw at least as teaser in the block entry, yeah. But I found this really interesting. And here it is also applied as a noise as a force field to the particles and moved around. And so gives this more technical kind of notion there. And then, yeah, one last thing to stop. One thing I also added was something I had for a while already. It was not part in the library. And this is built on Torino's Alembic loader.
Could I interrupt you for a second there, Christus? You have so many nice animations right now, but the sharing thing is a bit choppy. I think if
yeah,
you
I can
share with
imagine.
this optimized for video, we will get a nicer experience. So if you stop sharing and try again, I'm
Yeah,
not an expert. Maybe somebody
okay.
can point us at the exact thing he needs to do. But you should have an option there that says optimize for sharing video or some such
Yeah,
thing.
there's something like für Videofreigabe.
Okay.
Okay, let's try again. Yeah, sorry.
No,
Hope
no,
you
good.
still had some joy on the other stuff. Is that better now?
Loading, it's questionably better. Like maybe a couple of more frames a second.
Okay. Yeah, I can pause it and then maybe you have at least a still.
It's getting better now. A lot
Getting
better, I
better.
would say.
Okay. Yeah, so this is basically utilizing the Alembic loader from Torino's and making it accessible also to the Fuse compute system. So you can do like a lot of fun stuff with it. Like as you see here, I read random pairs of points on the surface and just connect it with lines. And here I use the mesh normal to, yeah, basically generate particles with some noise to modulate the length of it, to give this more hairy kind of look. And in this part, I check the last version of the mesh and the current one and use this as motion vector to emit particles. And also check like if a maximum threshold is hit. So to not emit particles on every, like on small movements. Yeah.
Almost like an optical flow kind of thing.
Yeah, but on the mesh. Yeah, and I saw there was a post, maybe Elias can highlight this later on, that maybe, like I saw there was maybe work on FBX animation. So that would be really amazing if we could get this in Stride and have animated meshes. And then I would be happy like to apply the same thing there, because what it mainly does is reading out the mesh and yeah, working with the information that's from there. Yeah, so that was a short roundup. Hope it was not too long on what is going on recently. I'm working also on a new release. One thing that is still broken is line rendering, which I need to fix, and I haven't done yet, but I guess most of the other patches are looking fine. So I was targeting for February to get a release out, but because of the line rendering is a bit more complex than expected, it hopefully gets March now. But you get still all of the latest stuff in the repo version, but I know that's probably not for everyone.
Well,
Yeah.
it's looking very good, I would say, and very exciting stuff coming up. I mean, the Gaussian splatting alone is quite the topic these days, and these beautiful animations we have on screen right now are also pretty amazing. So thanks for keeping the hard work up, Chris. Super nice.
Yeah. One thing before I forget, if you work with Fuse, if you like it, if you use it commercially or whatever, this is the Open Collective site. There are a lot of ways to support it. So as you see, like for example, Rifig and Mbox are supporting it monthly. That's really helping a lot, because stuff like checking help patches and fixing line rendering is really boring. It's not fun, like the Alembic stuff. And yeah, it's good to get some money from it for sure. And whatever you like to support, if it is one big project and you just say, okay, I give a bit of that to Fuse, you can do like an individual Spende, or you can do a monthly subscription. whatever you like, but it helps the project a lot. So my plan is to see what is in the pot towards the end of the year and then use that to not do other commercial projects, but yeah, take full focus on Fuse for some time.
Very
Yeah.
important, yes.
That's it.
Thanks
from
for
me.
sharing, Chris. Super cool stuff. I mean, Fuse is, of course, the tip of the spear when it comes to V4 3D graphics. Very happy to have you behind that. Thank you for sharing. And remember to support in any way you can, commercially or otherwise. It's a very important project for our community. And you can see just how good the results are. So yeah, thanks again, Chris. Any questions, comments?
One
Words of
really last thing now.
Oh, okay.
So I not only would like to have your money, I would also like to have your ideas. So I saw something in the forum and I also follow that, or I'm always happy if I get input on Element. But it would be good to know like where you guys struggle or what works well or what not so much or what could be simplified or what features might be missing. Yeah. So I'm not currently going to implement those things, but I would like to collect it and get a better plan that includes all this feedback towards the second half of this year. Yeah. All right. So now I'm really done.
You sure?
Also, Christian did like a super comprehensive like series of courses on Fuse. So if you missed out on that with the Node Institute, you can now go to the top of the page. On our website, there's a tab called Video Courses, and right on there, you'll see all the V4 Fuse classes that Christian did. So if you missed out on it, it's all good. We have recordings. We have Christian's amazing project files, all available there. So you can go into the video courses on our website and view them all.
Thanks for that, Harshini. Yeah, I took some of them. I haven't finished all of it, but it's a lot of really valuable information. You can go through them a few times and get something out of it every time. So absolutely have a look. Amazing. So thanks again, Chris.
Yeah.
And if we have no comments or questions for Chris, I don't know, Chick, are you ready to take over or do you need some time
Yes.
still?
No,
Yes,
I
okay.
can breathe. I can breathe again. So
Okay, well,
I wasn't. Thanks. I wasn't expecting to run up that quickly, but I guess when you work with Simon Weckert, you gotta be prepared for everything. Yeah, we were with the course, so I wanted to quickly share my screen and go over the course syllabus. So it's basically thanks, anyways, Gabi, for your kind words and also sharing your progress after you did the course. We are starting on the 23rd or 24th, was it? I think. Let me share my screen. I cannot share my screen. Somebody needs to allow me.
Oh, interesting.
So
Allow
there's
my-
no need normally. Right.
No,
Yeah, you can share.
I need to. Could somebody share the course program quickly instead of me, because I cannot share my screen from the system settings.
I think you have to put on the audio again on the screen.
Randall, could you share your screen quickly? Maybe.
Yep, let me try quickly. Boom, sharing now.
And go to the nodeinstitute.org.
1 second. The nodeinstitute.org.
And then further down, there is
Get us out of the way. Down here, I imagine this is what we're
a bit
looking
down
for
on
now.
the homepage. No, just a bit down. On this page, scroll down. There's the beginners class. You can then click on the headline.
I failed to see it. Sorry.
It's the second. It's just the second section already. on this homepage. Further up. No, not there. This is super chaotic at the moment. Just scroll to the very top. I'm sorry about this.
Okay.
Scroll to the very top. It's the second section on the homepage. Now a bit down. No, just a bit down. Yeah, there's beginner's class. You see that?
I see that. Yeah.
Start
I think we
now.
had a
Yeah.
delay thing. Okay. Should I click on this? What am I doing?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay.
Just click on this.
Feels like a workshop.
And
okay.
now please scroll down to the, yeah, scroll please down to the program.
This?
Yeah, just scroll down to the program. There's somewhere it's starting with the dates.
This?
Yes,
We have
perfect.
like
So
a 5 second
we are
delay or
starting on
something,
March
yeah.
the 24th. Yes. Yeah, it's super weird. Yeah, we're starting on March the 24th with the interface and drawing basics. So we will explore like the basics of V4, basic data types, how to join and split data types in V4, like all the boring stuff that you need to know. Also, how to use Skia as a rendering engine. Then in the second session, we will look at Stride as a 3D rendering pipeline, which is the built-in game engine into V4. And then in the third session, we will take a look at textures, shaders, audio visualization. And actually what I'm super excited about that this semester, actually I'm not excited about that Rosie is not doing the course together with me. So this is the first time I'm mainly doing this course alone, but I've invited 3 guests to also take over 1 lesson each. So Rosie will return for 1 session at the very end for the data visualization class. But the third session, we are having a friend of mine, Gabriela Gordillo, who will take over this class also as a first time to teach at the Node Institute. And our dear friend Amir Bastan will take over the 6th session, Shaders and Advanced 3D, which will be mainly about views and particle systems. So just as a little side mentioning that there will be also guest appearances throughout the course. Then in the 4th session, it will be mainly about spreads and how to organize spreads and draw collections inside of loops. We will then go on into the topic of animation and algorithms, which will be about noises, creative coding algorithms, patched logics in V4. And then we will have a break, and then the second part of the course starts, which will be more like a deep dive into the language methodologies of V4, which means objects, process nodes, everything that you might know from other programming languages, like building your own data types. And that's why we will actually have, this course is not up to date yet, but the 8th and the 9th session will be like a very deep dive into object-oriented programming. So we will have 2 sessions really looking at the topic of object-oriented programming from multiple perspectives and make lots of different examples, just dealing with the topic of building your own data types. And then in the last quarter of the course, we will then go into data visualization, developing games. And then in the last session, I will also share insights from the battlefield, like some tools and workflows, state management techniques, interesting libraries that you can use for your projects, stuff like that. So this is what I wanted to share quickly. And if you could scroll up to the very top, Randall, one more time. Very important mentioning here is that it's saying the course takes place if we have 10+ participants. So please share the course with people who might want to learn V4. If you want to get into it, sign up. I'm happy to have you in the course and yeah, let others know about this course if you know people who might be interested. So thank you very much, Randall. You can stop sharing your screen. And I'm basically done with this little marketing break. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for showing us that beautiful course content. It looks completely exhaustive. Like, I think you come out of it better prepared than a lot of people who are out in the industry currently working. So yeah, thank you for preparing such a fully immersive and complete course. And I'm sure you'd miss it if you didn't take it. So go ahead, sign up, tell your friends, invite your girlfriend, give it as a gift to someone you love. Just yeah, make sure you get people out there. And thanks again, Chick, for sharing. Does anybody have any comments, questions? Congratulations to give Check for the course. Anything on that front? Recommendations? I mean, Gabi already gave very nice words about her own progress, so that's a statement on its own. If we're happy on the course side, we have potentially the last presentation. So I have Schnelle bunte Bilder here written down, who is about to share a project of theirs with us, I hope. Are you with us? Hello. Yes. I think we're not hearing you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yes, thank you. So welcome and thanks for sharing.
Here, anyone? Sorry, we're having a bit of trouble here in the Berlin space with our audio.
Okay.
Also your speaker.
Okay, in this case. Okay. Could anyone please say something?
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, perfect. Okay, thank you. We solved. Okay. Okay, hello. This is going to be a quick one. Michael here of Schnelle bunte Bilder, and I'm not actually going to show a project, but like a tiny piece of development from a project. It's actually about a line shader. Maybe it has something to do with what Christian also has on its on his to-do list. Let's see. And so it's a really small thing, but it's about geometry shaders, and I thought it might be interesting to show it. So here we have like a 3D spline, and I couldn't find a way to really do this with the current pack of nodes and contributions. So we kind of developed this now for this project, and I'm quickly going to show this. So for this, we kind of learned how to actually set up geometry shaders now in Stride and integrate it with the material workflow. And as we can see here now, we have a beautiful spline, and I'm going to lower the resolution here so we can see it actually consists of geometry pieces. And yeah, the most challenging thing mathematically was how to align each of these segments so they kind of form a continuous line and don't have just tube segments in between points. And yeah, so increase this count here. We can also choose how many segments this should use, how smooth the tube should be. And we can also choose to have smooth normals. And we also can kind of have a spread or a buffer of radii to say how thick the spline is. And let's let this guy start moving. Yeah. So I'm currently working on segmentation, so we can kind of chop it up to also have like to have also a buffer with multiple of these lines that each have their caps, their endpoints, and we also can do now our video game end bosses.
Lots of tentacles coming. Yeah.
As you see here, there are still some issues There are some cases where the line is not completely continuous, so the mathematics are not perfect yet. And we also have UV coordinates for this. Okay, so but why I mainly wanted to show this is also because this was quite a nice community effort. And I may just show here the forum entry. And this has been really active. And that's one thing why I wanted to show this, because lots of people contributed. Also, Tebian had lots of insights. We discovered some nice things about geometry shader instancing, which no one else like in this forum thread knew about before, and which is actually used now also in a kind of interesting way. And yeah, so we had people chiming in, finding things out about the UV coordinates. ChatGPT also helped here and there. Let me just scroll through this to show what has been going on. Yeah. So it's on GitHub now, here, vl.tubby, and still a bit of work in progress going on. Yeah, and that's about it.
Super cool, Michael. Thanks for sharing. That looks gives me a bit of a Beetlejuice vibes, this thing you have on screen.
So this is actually used in an actual project, but that's something for next time, maybe. So
looking forward to that. Okay.
So, yeah, thank you.
I mean, super cool. Any questions? Anything from Michael? Round of applause, of course. And this is currently running strictly on Stride. This has nothing to do with Fuse. Yes.
No, unfortunately not. I think it's not a big step, but the material extension that is used here like that, not exactly compatible, but almost. So I didn't look into this yet, but yeah, that's definitely one thing to do. Yeah, should totally be doable. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really specific about that. It's just a geometry shader that could also be patched with Fuse nodes or integrated, I guess.
Okay, sounds promising.
Yeah.
We have simpler sounds on the YouTube chat saying trippy. I agree. Pretty cool. I think it's easy to imagine building up some sort of, like you said, like a boss or some sort of character or vegetation, or yeah, it has a very organic feel to it. At least how you have it set up right now. Super cool. And this is already, you said that this is already ready to use. There's still some issues to iron out, but it looks quite stable now.
It's totally stable. There's just some missing features, I would say. Yeah. So feel free to use it and report back to the forum thread or create an issue in GitHub if you like.
Okay. Super. Thanks for sharing again, Michael. Really nice. I can see myself playing with this in the future. Cool. So there's, I mean, I don't know if anybody else has anything to present. This will be the time to raise your hand and let me know.
I can maybe present something.
Super cool. Yes, please.
That's fine. I was just thinking about it when I saw what other people were sharing actually, because I'm a student as well at the Burg University of Arts in Halle. And cool. I'm studying my master's degree. My name is Wilhelm Spline. I was also working together with David Brüll and Maxime for a short amount of time. So hello, Maxime. And I was using vvvv before, like in my bachelor's degree as well, and now in my master's too. And I did a semester project last semester with vvvv that I would like to show. It's called Planet 9. It also got nominated for the design prize at the Burg University of Arts. So maybe I can just share my screen very quickly. I didn't like prepare any presentation or anything, but I should have it on my website. So I'm just going to go through it very quickly, so it's not going to take
Yes,
forever.
please go ahead. Sure.
Let's see. Screen share. Okay, there we go.
If you do want to share videos, make sure you, when you share, you enable that video sharing option so they're a bit smoother if you're sharing videos.
Where's the video sharing option?
I think you have to stop sharing again. I mean, you have to
Okay.
stop sharing, try again, and there should be some option there that says something about optimization for video or something like this.
Optimize for video sharing. Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is my website. There's also some video playing. Hopefully that's it's okay. You could also reach that website yourself if you wanted to, but I think it's not working right now because like 2 days ago, some hackers, I don't know who, were trying to brute force attack my website, and I think my web host as well. So that's why most of the images and videos are not loading right now, but I need to check into that in the next couple of days. So this is a project. It's called Planet 9, and it is about the 9th planet in our solar system. So it's like a small interactive installation piece that is exploring like how could a 9th planet, solid planet in our solar system look like. And that's also based on scientific research from 2016, I think, where it says there's like a 90% possibility that there is such a 9th planet in our solar system, but like super far out. Like you can, I don't know if you can see it in the graphic, but it's like very, very far away. Like so far away that you can't actually tell what the surface looks like because it's not reflecting enough light or like any like infrared light, cosmic light yet. So I think I'm just going to play the video very quickly. Hopefully it's going to explain most of what this thing actually is. Hopefully it's loading. There we go.
Planet 9 is an interactive installation that allows users to design a 9th planet in our solar system. Scientists believe that such a 9th planet may actually exist. Since 2016, it has been hypothesized that a mysterious celestial body, with its immense mass, influences the orbits of several dwarf planets far beyond the asteroid belt. The likelihood of the existence of a 9th planet is estimated to be over 90%. However, this planet 9 is believed to be 700 times further from the Sun than Earth, making it reflect little to no light and thus extremely difficult to detect with current technology. Yet, our scientists continue their pursuit of Planet 9. Until we capture a confirmed image of its surface, there are infinite possibilities for what this celestial body could look like. This is where the Planet 9 installation comes into play. Using the latest technologies, we unleash our creativity to envision our own versions of the 9th planet in our solar system. By pressing into a latex surface, users can shape their own planetary landscape, which is then interpreted by artificial intelligence. This experimental interplay between users and the computer generates endless variations of what a 9th planet might look like. What is particularly exciting is observing how users engage with AI in an unfamiliar way and witnessing their reactions to this collaborative process. Give it a try yourself and create your own personal 9th planet.
So yeah, that's basically a good sum up of the installation. It's also using the stream diffusion, what is it? Nougat by Tebian. That's quite new. So like, unfortunately, it wasn't running super fast because the graphics card that I was allowed to use at my university. It wasn't like the newest 4090 or something, but I was building this latex surface device that is using some kind of what is it? I think it's called photometric stereo, so like a photogrammetry algorithm that I was trying to implement into vvvv, which kind of worked, but it was way harder than I thought in the beginning. But it's using red, green, and red light that then gets separated in vvvv into like the blue channel and green and red channel of the picture that gets recorded by the webcam. And therefore you have like 3 different lighting situations and recreate the like 3D structure that you press into the latex surface. Yeah, and I think that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love the concept. I've been a fan of this 9th planet concept for a while now, so it's nice to see it implemented in such a creative way. I'm curious, it said there was an AI component to it. What is the AI doing exactly?
It's basically taking the depth map of the surface that you created to like give it some kind of color. So like in this, initially I wanted to have users to have more control over like what the planet specifically should look like, but realistically in like in an exhibition setting, I experienced that a lot of people don't really know how to interact with AI yet. So I was giving them pre-prepared prompts that are like randomly getting thrown together, and then they can like stop the generation process of the AI algorithm or like the stream diffusion that is going on in the background, and say this is how I envision my 9th planet to look like, and then they can create their planet out of it, basically.
Super cool. I think I saw Tebian's name on the credits while you were scrolling up and down. Was he also involved somehow?
He was providing the code. He was doing the stream diffusion package.
Cool.
Yes.
Amazing.
So
Leading
that's
edge
why.
technology. Cool.
Yes.
Super cool. Thanks for sharing, man. That was an on schedule one and super cool to see what people are doing with it. What was the reception like for the piece? Oh, did people play with it a lot?
Yeah, they played with it a lot. Of course, they were trying to break it as well. But no, it was quite fun. Like people were pressing not only their hands in there, like you see a lot of people pressing their face in there as well when nobody's looking, or like taking a water bottle that they have on hand or their phone, and then like try to do like more unorganic surfaces as well, which was quite fun. And as I said, it got nominated for the design prize at my university, but unfortunately I didn't win. But there were like super great competitors as well.
Next year, man, you'll get it.
Next year.
Amazing. Oh, super cool. Thanks for sharing again. I think
no problem.
Deserves a proper round of applause.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions or comments for Wilhelm? I see a very quiet room in Berlin. What's going on in Vienna? Oh, I think we're good. All right. Well, thanks again for sharing a super cool video. You saw the website, so if you want to check it out, soon you will have the website back up and running, we hope. So,
yeah, hopefully, yeah.
We got a question
It's
on the
working
YouTube
right now.
chat. Did anybody make the moon? Did anybody make like a known planet? Did anyone attempt to replicate an existing planet texture or surface?
It was actually running at our annual exhibition of the university, and I was mostly also taking a look at what other people are doing, but I like all of the planets were saved into a folder afterwards, and there were some moon likewise planets afterwards, but as I said, there's not you can't like prompt directly like everyone's moon's surface with like gray dust and this kind of things. So it's not exactly like a moon, but quite similar. There were like a couple. I think in the end I had like 800 planets or something. So,
nice.
so that was quite fun.
I think somebody else was asking something as when I jumped in, no?
Or it was just probably me. The website is working right now.
Ah, amazing. Thanks for that, Suna.
Yes.
All right, so go and check it out. We beat the hackers. Good one. Okay, then I guess that's the end of the list I had. Berlin, that's a no, yes? No more presentations? Okay, perfect. So I guess that's the end of the show for us tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Oh, hang on. We do have a presentation in Berlin. Okay. You're very small in my screen right now, so it's hard to understand what's going on. Okay, so up next, straight from Oranienstraße 10, Elias is going to
audio
show
is
us
on.
something from the Dev Lab.
And video, I guess, as well, or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Elias.
I mean, I have
Good to
this
see
AI
you.
camera. Don't get, it's weird. It's zooming around.
It did zoom around just now, very smoothly.
So we don't hear Randall now. Why not?
Because either one of you has to put this out. Shall I? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I need to do it. I guess I need to do it, right? Say again?
Hello, hello, hello.
Again?
Hello. Hello, Elias.
I need to make it loud.
Good to see you. What do you have for us today, Elias?
Yeah, I just wanted to very quickly, like a little side project we got. Basically, we got a request for a certain camera, which is not important, but the point was it needed RTSP to actually stream from it. So we looked into our options, how to stream RTSP. First one was, of course, our own video nodes we have. And turns out Media Foundation only supports RTSP with audio, not video. No idea why. So then we looked again, and then yes, of course, then you come up with VLC at some point. And when you go to VLC, to the repository, I need to share my screen, sorry. Zoom.
And just for my ignorance, what is it? What do you say?
RTSP. It's some real-time streaming protocol.
Okay.
A certain camera needed. It basically got us into a side project, so to say. And this side project I'm gonna show you. So let me just share screen, share. All right. So it was about, so it started with streaming RTSP streams, where you then quickly end up with VLC, which we all know, the video player everyone is using. And thanks to the newest version of VLC, it's possible to actually like talk to this library in a way that you get these images. It plays you back in a hardware accelerated way. They have a very good example there. So we went into that one, ported this to vvvv, and I'm just going now to the thing itself. So this is the side project. It's a video player node based on VLC and not Media Foundation. So it will be living in its own package because, of course, VLC has a lot of, dependencies, and it's quite huge. So when you create an application with it, you have something like 100 megabyte more or something, but still. So just showing it's actually working also. And what I would say yeah, okay, that's probably not good. Maybe let me just stop it. Point is, it's working, but I think what the nice part is, and that was for me a surprise, is that they actually have the audio callbacks, which Media Foundation never had. So like our normal video player node, right? If I
just smiled quite widely.
Reference video, and I would put in here the normal video player. This one has it's just a video player. It doesn't have any audio output. Well, it has audio, but it routes the audio to your computer directly. And VLC gives us the option that we can tap into those audio callbacks. So it can also just output it directly to your speakers. But I can, forget what we see here. It's just really
basically 1 day of work up till now. But yeah, so basically here we have an output which supports the audio source. So as you know, in recent versions of V4, if you have an output which is a video source, then you have these nodes, video source to texture and video source to SK image, to either go into the stride world of playing a video or in the skier world. And the same is true for audio. And so this is now the second example where it's actually an audio source. The other one, the first one was NDI, but in this case now, you can actually now have audio here, which brings you into the world of VL audio, and where we now also could, you know, now connect this with VSD, for example, or like also the recent addition to V4 and other things. So yeah, that was kind of the nice surprise I wanted to share, that we have finally some options here, and of course I think some other benefits like, you know, being able to play QuickTime MOV files and RTSP, which was the initial thing which we were looking after.
Super cool.
This is it. Yeah, we will release this at some point when it's kind of ready as a separate package, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay, super cool. Thanks for sharing. We already have a question from Simone saying, so now we have full control of multi-channel audio video files?
Well, so what I know, I mean, I can configure VLC, like I can tell it to, I guess I can tell it to select like how many channels it should, you know, play from the audio. So that would probably be an input here, I guess, right here on the node as an input. You could probably say, hey, I want to have all the six 5.1 channels, and then so down here, then you would get 6 audio signals. That would be my expectation. Like I said, it's really recent development, so just started yesterday. Can't really answer.
So the answer is yes, and it will be done by the end of the day, Simone.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Cool. Very exciting. Thank you. And I have a question. Is the package you're releasing about VLC? Like, are you wrapping VLC and putting out a NuGet, or is it specifically about this RTSP thing?
No, RTSP is really basically, if I would have an RTSP stream, which I don't currently, they are really hard to get, but an RTSP just really means, look here, if I would just basically replace this.
It's like a protocol thing.
It's like a protocol. Usually then in our case, what we are looking after, this would now be an address in a local network, something like this with some which basically points to a camera. Point being, it's just a different protocol, and VLC supports it properly compared to if I would basically give this URL to this guy, he would just say, yeah, I support it, but then it doesn't play anything. So it's just weird.
So please tell me you named the package VL.C. It's VLC in the end, no? Jokes aside, when can we start playing with this? I mean, you said already this is very much work in progress and very early, but do you have any expectations or more or less when we can get a NuGet beta type thing to poke?
I mean, we are also very focused of getting the 7.0 stable release out, right? The new vvvv version. So I don't know. This is, like I said, a little bit of a side project, so it's not the highest priority, but since it's already quite far, I would hope that we back it up, and because it's also an external package, it's not relying on the V4 release, so we can just basically publish it as a preview package, and you can try it.
All right, Sune, now you know. Keep your timer up. Yeah, all right. Super cool. Any questions? I mean, other than thank you and congratulations, any questions or specific comments for our new upcoming VLC NuGet?
Does it support all the protocols that the VLC player supports, which is quite a lot? Well,
yeah, of course.
Screen capture and, you know, hardware inputs and all these things. So
yeah, it's calling into the into the original API.
That's super cool.
Yeah, the good thing is, and like why this was not possible, like basically you have VLC, the stable one, which is the version 3, and then you have version 4, which is since quite a few, I think quite a few years in this alpha preview phase. But only the version 4 has this option that that we actually get these you know what the player actually decodes, that we get this as a texture. Hardware accelerated, and the old version, what I understood, gives it to you as a, basically it's super slow. It needs to download it back from the GPU back to the CPU, hands it over to vvvv. We would need to upload it again, and then you are in this crappy video playback mode where it can't really play anything proper. And yeah, the new version added this very important part that you can actually get into this render pipeline and get the texture out, or however you want to do it. So this is the kind of the big difference there.
Because if it supports all the effects that it supports, then we have proper deinterlacing.
Yeah, you tell me, I don't know.
Nice. I mean, bright future coming up for us. Super exciting. Thank you, Elias. Big one.
Of course.
Round of applause. End of the day, it's on the internet. Everybody knows now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Do we have any more last-minute presentations? Anyone else want to share anything? This is when? No? No more questions incoming on any front. So I think we can wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, whether that was in Berlin, in Vienna, at home, or in the future. We had a really nice lineup today. Lichterloch, VJ Monkey Man, F3 from Mexico, Ofer Smilansky, the Node Institute, Hashini's project coming up in London, Fuse with some really cool looking animations and upcoming stuff, Schnell Multibilder with their nice Spline stuff, and Elias showing us the future of VLC and all format support. And of course, also the improv project from Wilhelm. So quite a meetup, I would say. We don't have a planned date that I know of just yet for the next one. So keep your ears and eyes open. We'll be posting it as soon as we know it. An important thing for you to know is that this is not an invitation-only space. For example, with Wilhelm today, if you have something to show on the moment, please do. We are always struggling to find people to join the meetups and present, and big kudos for all the people who are involved with that, especially Czech. So if you have anything you would like to show, whether it's new, finished, unfinished, old, or something you saw somewhere else, please do join. It makes the meetup all the merrier. With that said, big thanks to all the presentations we had today. Thanks to the Node Institute for lending us the infrastructure and the space. Thanks to Maxime and Controls for keeping tabs on all things technical. And yeah, thank you for watching today. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.